In the CAPS program, we practice essential professional skills not taught in the regular classroom. Our work requires us to be flexible and adapt to the ever-changing needs of each particular profession. We are expected to think critically and find productive solutions in all of our tasks. It's these skills, including communication and collaboration with others, that are going to help us thrive in the 21st century. CAPS allows students to work alongside business leaders in their environment. And it's because of this program that I am becoming a professional more and more each day.
Today's education is student-driven and innovative. Students solve their own problems and create their own solutions. Our opportunity with CAPS will redefine what learning is. We are working in the business world with professionals, refining our own communication skills, professional skills, and specialized skills. As we progress into the job market, we know our opportunities here will set us apart and make us stand out.
It's a test run. We're getting hands-on experience in actually interacting with professionals. You get to see and do what they're doing on a daily basis. These direct interactions are going to prove very helpful when it comes time for us to decide what we want to do with our futures. We're in these businesses, in these hospitals, right there in the conference rooms, next to people who are where we want to be within the next 10 years. We get to see what we like and what we don't like. We're not listening to other people's stories. We get to make our own stories and our own decisions.
It is vital in the relationship between a student and a company that the student can give back to the business. Waukee CAPS students return value for what they're learning from companies by helping develop company projects. High school students are able to offer a new perspective to the professionals. There are currently a handful of students working with the Des Moines Social Club to help them market to the high school demographic. Another student is working with Waukee's district office to launch the activities website. It's exciting to see that students are not only benefiting from what companies can offer them, but we can reciprocate value back to the business as well.
Welcome everyone. I can't say enough how happy I am to see you all here and how much I appreciate you all being here. So welcome to Waukee High School and our Center for Advanced Professional Studies, or CAPS, celebration event. Internally, we've been talking about this for quite some time, and you need to know that I had nothing to do with the planning of the event. It was all done by our CAPS folks. And so what you see tonight and what you saw in the video, that's just a little bit of an example of what our students are capable of. I also, because I get to talking to people out there, I sometimes don't see everyone. I know at one point we had some of our local legislators that said they might be able to attend. If any of you are here, I want to make sure we acknowledge it's a big place. Okay, that's all right. And we'll get to later on in the program here. We'll acknowledge some other people, but I want to make sure I just say thank you to all of you that have helped as we've launched this. I see some of our city folks here, Tim Moorman, the Waukee city managers. The city folks have been very helpful as we work through the process with the CAPS facility itself, all of our business partners. You're going to get thanked a little bit later by Chris, but just thank you for being here. CAPS, some of you may not be real familiar with what it is. It's based on a philosophy of economic development, which is a little bit different for schools. We identify current and future workforce needs for our local economy, and then we've been developing programming in partnership with businesses in the private sector to help support that. We formed a 15-member advisory board consisting of local business leaders. We also have representation there from the University of Iowa and Iowa State, DMAC. That board identified the 5 strands that our programming operates under. And you'll see that information on some of the handouts and flyers and out in the commons after we finish in here. Once a partnership and course are established, leaders in that industry develop the curriculum for the course in collaboration with our instructors in higher ed. That's really important for you to know. It's not the schools and the educators developing the curriculum. It's the experts and the professionals in the field doing that. And so our programs are truly industry driven. I've used this analogy. Some of you have heard me speak so many times, it's probably getting old, but businesses are used to us coming to them like this with our hands out. We're not coming to them, at least hopefully they don't perceive we're coming to them like this with our hands out. We're coming to them this way. We want to partner with you, and we want to find ways to help support you and help make you successful, and at the same time then provide these wonderful experiences for our students. So CAPS provides juniors and senior students with real-world experiences in corporate settings where they can learn and develop skills in high-demand local corporate environments and at the same time provide real benefit to the businesses. It has the potential, we believe, to transform the high school experience through this innovative programming targeted to business partner-directed projects, and you saw some of those mentioned there. And then this immersion in what we refer to as profession-based programs. It's an opportunity for the district to provide a real benefit to the local business community. We believe we provide benefits, but in this way we can provide just real direct benefits, and at the same time provide exceptional programming for our students that doesn't currently exist in Iowa. Our students can earn both high school and college credit, gives them a jump on their post-secondary work. They gain experience beyond the traditional classroom, as well as get the hands-on experiential learning colleges value. They solve real-world problems that impact our business partners' bottom line and future success, and they apply that classroom knowledge to real-world situations. So and you'll hear us say this over and over again, it brings relevance to students' learning. And honestly, we've lacked that a lot in schools over the years. So they gain that experience in these work settings. They're treated like professionals, and they're sitting over there, and they're expected to act like professionals, and they know that. They'll work on projects for corporations. They'll present proposals. They'll be evaluated by industry leaders. The program helps to shape their college and career aspirations, and it provides that relevance. I've said this many times too. Forever it seemed like we operated in silos. We had our K-12, pre-K-12 education silo. We had our higher education silo, and here's the private sector and the business world and their silos. And we didn't communicate with each other, and we didn't blur those lines. We're working hard now to blur those lines and support each other and see how they interact and can help benefit each other. So as we move forward, we're going to keep expanding this programming. We have a facility planned to open in the fall of 2016, and you'll see some of the design pieces with that. I know Envision Architects, I saw Mark Nievenhoven in here, and Carrie Week. I think they're going to be out there as well and could probably answer more questions than I can as we go through that. And I had somebody out there ask me, why are you doing this? I said, this Waukee School District's kind of like a runaway train. You've got all this stuff going on with the growth and trying to keep up with all that, so why are you doing this? And to me, the answer was really simple. It's the right thing to do for our students. It absolutely is the right thing to do for our students. So I now have the extreme pleasure of introducing our next speaker. Kim Reynolds grew up in St. Charles, Iowa, and resides in Osceola, where she has served as county treasurer and state senator. Once elected lieutenant governor, she got right to work. Lieutenant Governor Reynolds serves as co-chair, I should have printed larger, to the Governor's STEM Advisory Council, along with Vermeer Manufacturing President Marianne Dringa. She is also chair of STEM Connector's STEM Food and Ag Council. Reynolds is chair-elect of the National Lieutenant Governors Association, and she serves as education chair for the Aerospace States Association. She's led numerous trade and fact-finding missions for Iowa, visiting China, South Korea, Thailand, Germany, Vietnam, and the Philippines. So please join me in welcoming our CAPS friend, Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Dave, for that very, very nice introduction. I appreciate that very much, and it is so nice to be here. It's great to be able to celebrate the launch of Waukee CAPS. I really want to commend the Waukee Community School District on your outstanding leadership. You are the first school district to bring the Center for Advanced Professional Studies programming to Iowa. So I just want to start by saying congratulations. You should be really proud of what you're doing. You are leading the way, and my goal is to scale this up all across the state of Iowa. There are many people in the room this evening who shared this dream to provide real-world, hands-on, project-based learning, who understood the necessity to fully prepare our young people for a really global knowledge-based economy. It's really amazing to think how much has been accomplished since I joined Dave Wilkerson and about 16 others on a bus trip to visit the Blue Valley School CAPS program in Overland, Kansas on February 6th. Now, the biggest challenge for me was trying to figure out where to meet. This is a big school, and we were at every end trying to find that bus, and I think at 5:30 in the morning, so we could get on there and head down and see what was going on down in Overland, Kansas. It was, I want to tell you, an incredible experience. We saw a CAPS program that was designed to support economic development through market-driven curriculum. It focused on profession-based learning and full immersion into specific industry projects. The professional culture was set by business, and in fact, 85% of the CAPS program teachers had been in business before. It really personalized student learning, and unparalleled personal growth for every student was emphasized. And the Blue Valley achieved a graduation rate of 96.8%. In addition, approximately 91% of the Blue Valley graduates planned to pursue a post-secondary education. And Dave kept telling on the way down there, it's different. You're not going to believe it. It's like walking into a business. They're dressed in, ties and khakis, and there's no lockers, there's no bells, there's no teachers. I think Kirk Tyler was with us, and they are taught to go right up to the people that are there, introduce themselves, shake their hand, and this young man stuck out his hand and introduced himself, and Kirk had CEO and president of Coca-Cola bottling. And Kirk hadn't even got to the end of the hall, and he received a LinkedIn request from the young man. I thought, wow, this is awesome. This is what we're looking for. It was just, and they were busy, and they were working on projects, and there were just unbelievable. But what was really, really neat, patents. There was actually some patents that had been pending from the facility. But to me, what was so inspiring was on the drive back home, you could feel and sense the enthusiasm. I saw the excitement from parents, from school administrators, from educators, and from business leaders. And really, you could see their commitment to make this happen and establish the first CAPS program in our state. And I know there was a lot before that, because I think I was the second bus tour to go down, and I think there were a couple after that. But so that's where I started to see the dream become a reality. The Waukee Community School District had a vision to really understand how a CAPS program can drive innovation and entrepreneurialism in Iowa. Your students are going to be able to use their problem solving and teamwork skills to master complex content. They will be able to explore careers and build, this is really neat too, to build a network of professional contacts with business partners in our state. So as somebody that really wants to make sure that we provide our children the best education possible and make sure that they're ready to compete in a global economy, most importantly, we want them staying in Iowa. So the contacts that they're making with business and industry in the state is phenomenal. Waukee students can continue to job shadow and participate in internships to bring relevance, there's that word again, to what they're studying. It's unusual for so many students in one high school to have these business opportunities to partner with corporate executives, business professionals, and talented teachers, again, to help each student prepare for the future. So in Waukee, you're making it possible for students to better connect what they learn in the classroom with the jobs that they may want to pursue someday. And this is critical if we hope to increase awareness of the vast number of career opportunities that await our young people in Iowa. You know, when Governor Branstad and I have the opportunity to travel across the state, employers so often tell us that there's a shortage of well-qualified applicants for middle and high skill job openings. And part of the problem is that it can be very hard for students to identify on their own what professional opportunities exist and how to prepare for them. So that's why bringing education and business and industry together with the CAPS model really benefits everyone. And I have to tell you, I've had parents come up to me and say, "Oh, Lieutenant Governor, I'm so excited. My child is getting to participate in the second semester with the CAPS program at Waukee." I had a meeting with President Franklin, who is the president of Des Moines University, and she was so excited to be one of the business partners with the CAPS initiative. And I said, "Well, I want to come see these students, interact with you, and then I want to interview the students, and I want them to tell me how it's impacting their future and the impact that it's had." So that's the kind of excitement that I'm hearing from educators, from administrators, from business and industry, and from students. So I think you're on the right track. In fact, Waukee has helped inspire the Governor's Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Advisory Council to try to emulate that in a small way to hopefully scale this across the state, a statewide CAPS initiative called Iowa STEM CAPS. Superintendent Wilkerson has generously shared his expertise as we've developed this idea for Iowa. We've targeted about $150,000 in state dollars to help seed the initiative, and we hope then to leverage it with private sector investments. And our Iowa STEM CAPS model has three emphases: education driven by industry need, with an emphasis on industry and student-led projects; a rigorous and relevant and dynamic STEM curriculum with a competency-based approach; and authentic partnerships involving schools and STEM businesses and organizations, among others. So some of our rural communities aren't experiencing the growth that you are right here, so this is a way that we can hopefully have them participate in a similar program. Through an RFP process, we're pleased to say that we've received six applications involving a total of 14 school districts, and the awards will be announced on December 1st. Dave said I've been just honored to serve as the co-chair of the Governor's STEM Advisory Council with Mary Ann Drinka, and we're working closely with an extraordinary executive director, Jeff Weld, who just has brought so much expertise to the project, and we have 6 dynamic hub managers that are working with students all across the state to give them that same opportunity, and 45 visionary, hardworking STEM council members who again understand the importance of a STEM foundation and what that means for the future of students and our economy. It's all about expanding opportunity, and engaging STEM education opens up rewarding professional possibilities for students that again strengthens the talent pool for STEM business and industry, from startup to established companies. I just want to say too, in Iowa alone, there will be 72,000 new STEM-related jobs to fill by 2018. So all of you over there, we want to encourage you to keep moving forward in these dynamic careers and these dynamic opportunities. And certainly we know that they pay more than non-STEM related fields also. In closing, I just want to say that one of the main initiatives of the STEM Advisory Council and programs like CAPS is we just really believe that all students deserve to be empowered with the knowledge and skills in STEM and other subjects that are essential to thrive in the careers of tomorrow. And Waukee CAPS is on the cutting edge of transforming Iowa high schools to do just that. So again, I can't thank you enough. I can't say congratulations enough. and we're going to be working closely with all of you and following you. So job well done. Thank you.
While we're getting a picture taken with Kim and some of the students, it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Jim Masterson brings 25 years of experience in his current role as the Chief Executive Officer of LightEdge, a technology and consulting powerhouse, and a Waukee CAPS business partner. Jim has held many executive management positions in some of the most successful and respected companies in the telecommunications and technology industry, and his accomplishments have twice earned him the distinction of Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year regional finalist. That is all impressive in and of itself, but when I've had a chance to spend time with Jim, I'm most impressed by his natural leadership skills and dynamic vision. Tonight he's going to share some of his inspiration on the importance of professional skills and a growth mindset, all with humility and grace. This is the foundation of what we're developing with Waukee CAP students into global innovators and leaders. Please join me in welcoming one of my mentors, Jim Masterson.
Well, thank you very much. I'm humbled to be here. I'm going to take this out if that's okay with you. So I'm a big fan of the setup before I throw these slides up here, just to give you a little background on why I'm here. So Chris and I met probably a month or so ago, and we happen to have a lot in common with regards to this subject. For a variety of reasons, the least of which is my particular path in getting to this stage of my career was probably the best described as kind of a crooked path. And I wish, to be honest, that I would have had this sort of program early on to kind of teach me some of the basics, because I had to learn it like the rest of us probably did along the way. The second thing is that at this point in my career, I get the opportunity, frankly, to focus mostly on leadership development, on the staffing of the company, the culture of the company. I get to speak a lot about the development of those sorts of things to a variety of different audiences, most recently of which I've gotten the opportunity to speak to several different colleges in the business classes and in the MBA schools, because they're dealing with the same thing. There's the textbook learning, and then there's the learning based on real life experiences. You can't get it in the classroom. So I'm a big believer in that. We began to work with CAPS, as the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, out of the Kansas City, Missouri marketplace. And I got very passionate about it, because to be honest, the first time I looked at it and thought, this is a distraction, can't have this in the company, can't have some high school guys running around without anything to do, and one of my executives or one of my middle managers having to follow them around the place. It turns out that the CAPS program is anything but that. There is actually a tremendous win-win here for us, and I'm convinced of it. I'm going to show you some pictures of the first class that we did up in the Clay County area in Kansas, Missouri. So the slides that I put up here, that's the background. The slides I put up here are literally just to keep me on track, because I can get off track pretty easily. So it's a snippet into a larger message and a passion that I have for the human development inside of a business, and I thought I'd just use these to kind of keep me on track. So I thought maybe to start the discussion off, we just talk about the realities that we're dealing with from an employment standpoint, this coming from the perspective of the company, and then from an employee management standpoint. So these are just a couple of things to kind of level set. Number one, competition for employment is intense, especially for the younger population. In today's younger economic environment, as you know, it's very difficult for these young folks to find good employment or the kind of employment they want coming out of school. That's a fact. Employers on the other side are getting very good at selective and recruiting of these skill sets. And so, one, we're being very selective. I have an HR director whose sole responsibility when it comes to staffing at the very end of it, before we all make a job offer, is to raise a red flag if from a culture standpoint that person isn't a fit. Even if the hiring managers have said, yep, all all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If she thinks that there's an issue with culture, she'll raise the hand and we won't make the hire. So employers are getting very, very good at selecting, and they have a choice. They can select these folks at the beginning, and secondly, once we get them in there, we want to make sure they fit the culture, because if we're wrong, frankly, it's a lot of effort to unwind this. So there's a lot of pressure inside the company to do good hiring. There's a lot of pressure on the candidates in the marketplace because it's extremely competitive. And then finally, what I found on the last bullet that's just extraordinary to me is the difference between young professionals who have these professional skills, these communication skills that some don't, and they rise to the top really quick. LightEdge is a technology company, and we hire a lot of young people. We hire a lot of young engineers. We hire a lot of young marketing people, for example. My entire marketing organization is in the early 20s. All of them are less than 25 years old. And they all have phenomenal jobs inside the company doing real work to move a brand, to do PR, to develop products at 23, 24 years old. To see the kind of development from a professional skills standpoint that these young people have, it's incredible and it's humbling. And I can't even emphasize how fast I want to accelerate their development in the company, because I need that. I look at 40-something people and they're lacking more often than not basic communication, professional skills that the younger generation has when they come through programs like this, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So we chose to support CAPS because we looked at we've drained every other opportunity we can drain. We're hiring like crazy. We're growing like a weed. We have probably hired, I'd guess, probably 15 people in the last 18 months out of DMAC and the local community colleges. We can't find them fast enough. We looked at development in the college classroom that I talked about before. Because what we've decided is that if LightEdge, my company, for example, has been around now since 1996, we're going to be around another 20, 25 years. So I better start developing now at this level if I'm going to be able to grow that kind of employee base and skill set that we want in Iowa, because it is awfully tough to find these capabilities in Iowa when it comes to these sorts of skills, in the technology space specifically. So we believe we need to assist. We need to assist in that focus and that development of future employees. The colleges that I speak to, as I mentioned, Whitworth University out of Spokane, Washington, Colorado Christian College out of Colorado, they're all struggling with the same thing. And it's really cool to see. I love it, actually, because they give me an opportunity to speak to these young business students about the kinds of things that I think, this is just one man's opinion, that I think make a difference when you enter an organization that's growing, that there's real activity going on. There's real growth and fun and passion, and every employee in the company has a critical role and has productivity that's required every day. This is not my company is not a Fortune 100 where there's 50,000 people working in it and you're one of many. We are a rapidly growing company that needs a lot of skill sets that are willing and anxious to jump in with both feet and arms and do something every day to move the ball forward. That's why, frankly, for me to get involved with CAPS was a big deal, because again, that distraction, it can't be there. It has to be relevant for both of us, and it is. It's really powerful. And then finally, the people that I've met, Chris specifically, that are championing this program, this CAPS program in the Waukee School District, you have to have a lot of passion and belief at the core of who you are to be successful with this, and she does, and the people associated with this program at Waukee do. Otherwise, I wouldn't get involved with it. Finally, I thought maybe it'd be worthwhile, this is, again, just my opinion. These are taken right out of a presentation I did to an MBA school most recently at Whitworth University about what it is that, again, from my perspective as a chief executive, when I look at the employees in the company, what do I think actually makes a difference, in this case, not only to be hired, but to be advanced within the organization. And the first bullet, always be authentic, believable, and approachable. Inside the company, I call that check your ego at the door. I am a real believer that ego destroys. Either destroys relationships, personal relationships, but certainly in business, it can crush a business. For me, stated a little more positively, always be authentic, believable, and approachable. Be flexible and adaptive, because I'm telling you right now, companies have to be flexible and adaptive in this marketplace. So get used to change. I have a lot of experience with employees telling me that, geez, I just don't like change. Really, you moved my cheese? It's like, get used to it, because it's gonna happen a lot. The more comfortable you get with that evolution and that change, the better you're gonna be. And then this next bullet, people must wanna work with you. You know, I've coined this a couple of different ways. One is I call it locker room leadership, or I'll call it playground leadership. In a business, in what could be characterized as a complex human ecosystem inside of a company, the college or the academia experience is great for a variety of reasons, the least of which is you're getting great learning and you're coming out with your degree. But the playground or the locker room, where you actually have to be a member of a team, or you have to be part of a group on a playground that wants to hang out together, that wants to participate with that group of people. And they must like you and you must like them to some degree. You have to be able to work together. It's much more like that. It's much more like the playground. It's much more like a locker room. And it's something that I think that myself and my senior executives really, really believe that. And so when we look at our company, for instance, the culture reflects that. It reflects passion, it reflects teamwork, it reflects a lot of fun, because no matter what anybody tells you, fun is incredibly important inside of a business. So don't lose your sense of humor, because if you get into the right company, you're going to have a lot of fun along the way too. And that's kind of the perspective that we have when it comes to a culture. Think, the next bullet. Think. Because I say that because one of the things that strikes me is that most people, again, to these professional skills or these experiences, they're very uncomfortable making decisions. They're very uncomfortable making recommendations even. And I tell them, you know, at the end of the day, here's the way you should look at it. Think about it this way. Any normal person, logical person, with the exact same facts that you might have, the chances of them making a similar or the same decision that you're going to make with those same facts, if you're using good common sense, is very high. So feel comfortable making the recommendation, feel comfortable making the decision, and just think through it. Because a lot of people sit around and wait for answers. And again, in a dynamic company moving forward, I'm looking for people that can step up with a recommendation. And then finally, this is probably maybe a little advanced at this point in their careers, but take calculated risks. I'm a huge risk taker. It's how I ended up in Des Moines, Iowa. I moved here from Seattle, Washington. Take calculated risks that are based upon humble and honest perspectives of your strengths and weaknesses. Pay attention to the people God places in your life, because it will and it does make all the difference. Finally, people with good judgment are rare. And I don't know any way to develop good judgment except to get great experience. So take as many experiences as you possibly can. Some of them will be positive, some of them will be negative, but they'll all matter down the road. These are just some snapshots of the group that we did in Kansas City, and it was so fun. We took them on a tour of our data centers. We have data centers here and data centers in Kansas City, and just watching their faces, it was just powerful. It was just so cool. And then to see the passion that they had for certain technologies or whatever their passion from a career standpoint was, it was really cool. And the other thing is we gave them access. These two gentlemen that are speaking to them here are my top 2 engineers in the company. So we're taking this very seriously. We bring them into the office. We let the younger guys, the guy on the left, as you can see, started with me when he was 20 years old. He didn't have a college degree, right out of high school. He used to have a ponytail down to his waist. But again, in the development of professional skills, he cut that off. And he is literally one of my top people in the company, and they are having a blast having this discussion with the students. So that's my presentation. I'm really honored to be here. I really do have passion for this. The development of young people is critical to not only my company, it's critical to the Iowa community itself. And that's the reason I agreed with Chris to come up here and spend a couple of minutes with you. Thank you.
Okay, I made a better decision and printed this part out a little bigger. I'm like Dave, I'm almost ready for glasses here. Jim talked about risk, and in life, There are challenges that, if seen as opportunities and reflected upon, support the most growth and help us pave our way. And right now I'm talking students directly to you. Without risk, without failure, and without actionable steps to improve, there is no growth. The Waukee CAPS experience is an opportunity for you to connect to your passion, create your story, and move you forward with the tools to contribute to our world in a meaningful way. Thank you for collaborating with your instructors, with your business partners, and with all involved in this experience to create a unique opportunity for Waukee students, as well as a vision for the face of education. Students, would you please stand, and would everyone join me in just recognizing them? With that said, students, you may go out that exit door right there and get ready to man your posts. The next group that I would like to thank is our CAPS instructors. Thank you for your time, your energy, your emotions, and everything that you've invested to launch this experience, an experience that has no roadmap. For those of you who know me, I ask a lot of questions. And I ask questions that invite reflection, promote thinking about ideas through various lenses, and support clarity and understanding in order to grow. The instructors know that questions such as, how do you invite growth, what obstacles inspire you, and what if, will always be central to the Waukee CAPS conversations. In response, they have rooted their thoughts in reflection and a mindset to embrace themselves or enhance themselves, as well as experience for our students, seeking to understand, embracing ambiguity, being open to change, and finding that they will move forward with passion is critical in this role, and I thank each of them for remembering this each day as they serve our students. I'd like to quickly introduce Holly Showalter is our instructor for exploration of health science and medicine. Joe Borman is the instructor for multidisciplinary design, architecture, and engineering. Michelle Hill in the back, designing communication solutions instructor, and Jesse Hunt, foundations of insurance and actuarial science. Would you please join me in showing our appreciation? To our business partners, partnering with Waukee CAPS takes on many faces. Engaging in curriculum teams, contributing guest instructors as content experts, supporting the mentoring aspect of the experience, and providing a host site for courses all come with the support of the Waukee CAPS experience. The Waukee Community School District appreciates your willingness to support our vision and take a risk in order to bridge business, education, and the community for the sake of preparing our next generation of young professionals. Time, energy, and dedication, and I would add distraction, impact real change and innovation, and they incur risk. I thank you for embarking on this journey with us. And we have 4 host sites that you can see up front. FBL Financial supports our insurance and actuarial course. Shive Hattery supports our architecture and engineering course. DLR Group is where our designing communication solutions students are housed, and Des Moines University has been an amazing partner for our health and science course. We have lots of people from those 4 host sites here. I would love it if you would stand and we could recognize you as well. Our Waukee CAPS Advisory Board is integral in all of this. Our board members serve as a compass to our success, supporting us in determining the economic trends and workforce needs within the state and the metro, and they connect us to partners who understand the synergy between business, education, and community. They listen and provide feedback to support our growth, and they help us with all the responsibilities that our team aspires to. Waukee CAPS Advisory Board, thank you for your guidance and your insights. If you're here tonight, please stand to be recognized. vision, courage, action, commitment, support. All of these words define the core of the Waukee Community School District School Board. Each member of the team brings insights, expertise, questions, and life experiences that provide various lenses from which to view the world. However, in the midst of all of that, there is a common thread, and it's the determination to ensure that Waukee students are provided opportunities that equip them to find their passions, take risks, fail, recover, and contribute to our world in a meaningful way. For your vision and for your courage, I thank you for making this experience a reality. Waukee School Board members, will you please stand to be recognized? And one of those, last but certainly not least, Waukee CAPS is one facet, just one facet of a district that embraces and lives a vision to support creativity, innovation, leadership, contribution, and growth. And I would like to thank all the teachers, our K-12 administrators, and all of the support staff who have lifted this experience, keeping collaboration and systemic improvement always in the forefront. Any teachers, Waukee administrators, support staff, please recognize or stand to be recognized. Now I would like to just speak a little bit to our next steps. We feel like we're always taking next steps and we're always running very quickly as far out front of them as we can. Currently, we have an enrollment of about 120 students, and our goal would be to double that for next year and double that again in 2016 when our facility opens. While maintaining our satellites, it's very important to us to still have students immersed out in the business community. We talked about that trend data, and we've spent a lot of time with our advisory board identifying those next steps. What are the big things that we need to think about? We've received feedback and insights on these courses, and now we're creating an opportunity for our students to do the same. We have drafted some course ideas. We have asked our students to start thinking about which courses sound the most interesting to them. And so we have proposed some courses within areas such as global food, global agriculture, the bioeconomy, investment in banking, big data, technology programming for business solutions, and advanced manufacturing. These shared ideas were shared during advisory last week, and students, I would encourage, if you're in the room or if there's any parents, to start having kids really think about taking that survey and letting us hear their voice as to our next steps. Lastly, once we've identified those courses, we're going to start. Dave always talks about the stars aligning. This is the exciting part. Once we have our courses, we start working with DMAC and start looking for host sites to support our students, looking for business partners that we can add value back to them through the courses we've offered. So just know that that opportunity is out there. And I guess with that, it concludes our program, and I thank you so much for spending time with us this evening. Please stay and visit with our students. They have lots of different food stations. We said, please visit all stations, and you're invited to try some at a couple of stations. Ask them questions. They are so excited. And as someone told me beforehand, I've been talking to that student for 10 minutes, and I know more. I've learned more than I have in the last week. They're amazing. They are just taking everything in. So thank you for being here, and go on out and enjoy the students and instructors.